Hello and welcome to The Hindu. I'm Shobana Chatterjee. With me is my colleague Shiv Sahai Singh. Today we will discuss the first phase of elections in West Bengal. So, Shiv, the first question I would like to ask you is that most of the constituencies, more than 50% of the constituencies are heading to polls, 152 of them. What do you think are the most important bits that are shaping up the first phase?
So geographically, if we see this map, we see most of West Bengal going to polls from
Yeah,
Kuch Bihar, Darjeeling, right till Purva
yeah.
Midnapur. Almost most of the regions,
16 districts.
16 districts, eight above the river, like eight in North Bengal and eight in South Bengal are going
Yes.
to elections.
Yeah.
So geographically, we are covering most of West Bengal, and in terms of constituencies, also we are covering about 152, which is more than
Yeah.
half. Now, elections will be held on 23rd, and this is the most crucial phase because all more than half of the electorate is we can
Yeah.
see 3.60 crores will be voting, and most of the state will be covered,
Yeah.
and this will set the tone of the second phase. We also know that there is a large deployment of security
Hmm.
here, so basically this is not only in terms of numbers important, it will also set up the tone for the next
Next phase
phase of
as
the
well.
election.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, what are the key constituencies that are going to polls and how are they important?
Right. So we know that the regions which are not closer to Kolkata are going to elections. The entire North Bengal, parts of South Bengal. Key constituencies would be, we've listed a few. Would be Darjeeling, Darjeeling in the north, and maybe and Baharampur in Murshidabad, where Adi Chaudhary is
Yeah.
contesting. Then we have Shubhendu Adhikari
Adhikari,
contesting from Nandigram.
Nandigram.
Of course, he's contesting again from Bhawanipur. We have this in Mothabari is important because on on April 1st, there was this violence,
Yeah.
and subsequently the NIA is
Has been
investing.
arresting a lot
Yeah.
of people.
Samserganj is again important because we have had
Yeah.
we've been there, and 72,000 deletions is probably highest in West Bengal.
Yeah.
Kharagpur and Asansol are important because uh, we have key BJP candidates
Sitting MLAs.
sitting. Kharagpur is Dilip Ghosh, who is
Yeah.
a former MP, and
Yeah.
Asansol, I think Dakshin is
Agnimitra Paul.
Agnimitra Paul.
Yeah.
Jhargram and Beenpur, they probably represent the core Jangal Mahal constituency.
Yeah.
I think Beenpur State's Minister
Yeah.
Birbaha Hasda is
It's
contesting.
contesting. Yeah.
And Chakulia is a very interesting constituency because we have a former forward bloc and a present Congress leader, Ali Imran Ram's former MLA also, he's contesting. So, in a nutshell, these are important constituencies which will go to poll, and the number of constituencies is 152. So almost all of them are very
Yeah.
important.
So, if you could tell us a little bit more about the most important candidates who are going to polls this first phase.
So candidates definitely, we spoke about constituencies and candidates are very, linked. We have Shubhendu Adhikari from
Yeah.
Nandigram. Now, this was a constituency where the chief minister lost in 2021.
One. Yeah.
This time, the Trinamool has fielded another BJP leader who at the last moment joined.
Who is someone close to Shubhendu
Yes,
actually. Yeah.
yes. And other candidate is we spoke about Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary
Yeah.
is also very important. We also spoke about BJP leaders from there, and a lot of ministers. Like there is another constituency of Deen Hata where Udayan
Mm.
Guho, North Bengal minister, is contesting. A lot of Congress candidates, and if you go back to the map, we will we can see that this region, the Malda and Murshidabad region,
Yeah.
this is the region which has always been a very important region for West Bengal politics. This is a Congress,
Dominated area.
yes, Congress
Yeah.
stronghold. This is also where Humayun Kabir and others have tried to make a dent. So these are minority dominated. In fact, this, all these districts are very densely populated, and significant minority population is there. Murshidabad, again coming to the SIR, we had maximum deletions, about more than 4 lakh deletions. So in terms of candidates, we have several candidates in this area. And also now again, if we look at the region wise, this region voted for the BJP in 2019, 2021, but again in 2024 it shifted towards the Trinamool.
Yeah.
So this region wise, this region is very important. Darjeeling, of course, has largely voted for the BJP. So these are things. So in terms of candidates, we can say there's several candidates: Shubhendu Adhikari, Adil Chaudhary, number of Trinamool ministers, Udayan Guha, number
Birbaha
of
Hasda.
Birbaha Hasda, a number of you know Congress prospective candidates, a number
Yeah.
of left candidates who are trying to make some marks. So these are important candidates.
Yeah. So we have seen a lot of hectic campaigning in the last 2 months with the top leaders from across political party lines have been here in West Bengal trying to woo the voters. So what do you think has worked for whom and what will it boil down to in the next few days?
So, on 20th evening, the campaign, on 21st evening, the campaign for the first phase concluded, right? 6 p.m. Now, we've seen months of hectic campaigning. Of course, for the BJP, Prime Minister held several meetings. He held a
Yeah.
meeting in Cooch Behar. He held a meeting in Malda. He also held a meeting in Murshidabad.
Yeah.
So the primary, message which the Prime Minister tried to give, he was the star BJP campaigner, was that there is the Trinamool is promoting infiltration. There are no industries. There are no jobs, and people should vote for change. That's also the slogan
Yeah.
of the BJP, which is like Paltano Dorkar Chai
Yeah.
BJP Sarkar. For the Trinamool, of course. Now, along with the Prime Minister, the Home Minister also did
Yeah.
several rallies. He was in Darjeeling on 21st. Uh, he also spoke more or less on the similar lines. For the Trinamool, they've been it's not once but twice. Chief Minister Mamta Banerjee covered these region, and then
Yeah.
Abhishek covered. And the Trinamool's main messaging this elections have been on SIR deletions,
Identity. Yeah. Bengali
excesses
identity.
by the agencies,
Yeah.
a kind of a clamp down
Yeah.
on West Bengal, and of course, Bengali identity and
Yeah.
culture that has always dominated the Trinamool's thing. So broadly, now we should also not forget the left and the Congress, because they are contesting separately, but they
Yeah.
also want, they are saying that uh, we have been successful in making both the BJP and the Trinamool talk about jobs.
Yeah.
So they have come to the basics, and even Prime Minister is talking about jobs, even the Chief Minister is talking about jobs. So the campaign was largely SIR, anti-incumbency,
Yeah.
and other issues which we discussed.
An interesting thing that we saw during the campaigns is that all political parties, mostly BJP and Trinamool, campaigning with fish in their hand.
Right.
So, and that has made it to social media. It has been a viral content.
Mm-hmm.
And once it started happening, it went so viral that everybody is trying to get a piece of that cake. Could you elaborate a little more on that?
So we all started with one BJP
Yeah.
candidate
Yeah.
in from Bidhan Nagar, taking a fish to market and roaming around and saying that, listen, we're not anti non-vegetarian food. Now, we did not expect then that it will have such a spiral
Yeah.
effect, that every BJP leader is now seen in the market, in a fish market. And yesterday, I think BJP leader Anurag Thakur was on camera
Eating fish.
eating
Yeah.
fish. So again, this is as the Trinamool has always emphasized that BJP is a party which is alien to the culture
Yeah.
and the food and dietary habits of Bengal, and this is what the BJP is trying to impress on, saying that no, we are ready to assimilate and we are ready to
Yeah.
buy and eat fish. And
Yeah.
so fish has become a kind of a very
Yeah.
important thing. Several BJP candidates are seen
Yeah. Even Trinamool tried to do that
seen
for a few
campaigning,
days. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
campaigning in fish
Yeah,
market.
yeah.
Yes.
So about the elections, so we have seen that the election commission has taken a few very drastic steps in
Hmm.
the last few days building
Right.
up to the election. So if you could shed a little light on what are the very different things that we are seeing in this election, which we have never seen before, unprecedented moves.
So, uh, all elections, all assembly elections and Lok Sabha elections in West Bengal have seen, this demand of deployment of large number of central forces by the election commission. This time we are seeing more than 2,400 odd
Yeah, yeah,
companies of central forces, which would roughly translate to about 2 lakh boots on ground. Now, this is for the first phase only. This is not for the
yeah.
entire elections. So this is an unprecedented deployment. But the question, a little digression from your question is that whether these deployment has been able to or will be able to prevent any kind of violence.
Hmm.
We see there were
Or build confidence.
yes, we see
Yeah.
yesterday there was some
Violence. Yeah,
violence was
yeah,
there in Paschim Midnapur.
yeah,
So this deployment itself is quite staggering if we see,
hmm.
and also we've seen that DGs of several central forces coming and
Yeah,
holding meeting. Now there have been a couple of unique uh, kind of directives which says that there will not pillion riding will not be
allowed.
allowed
Even
except
bike riding is not
yes,
allowed in the
yes,
night.
yes.
Yeah,
So pillion riders won't be allowed on a bike, and then you know. Locally people are also speaking about wine shops being shut for 10
yeah.
days. So in a way the election commission is trying everything to make the elections free and fair without violence, but we'll only see what happens in the next few days to understand that. So this is going to be, we've seen 8 phase elections. This is going to be a 2 phase election. So
Yeah, for the first time.
it's only on the day of polling you get to know whether the initiatives you've taken has worked or not.
Yeah, yeah. As we know that 19 appellant tribunals have been set up across West Bengal, but then there has been no names that have been reinstated in the supplementary list. We have no idea. There is no data shared from the election commission. So what is happening on that front? Will the 27 lakh voters who have been deleted, will they be able to vote? We have no answer. So if you could tell us a little more about that.
So the tribunals, there is a lot of ambiguity and on how the tribunals are functioning. I think all the tribunals are, located in one building.
Yeah,
There are 19 of them. People are going gathering there. They are being turned away, and
yeah,
we haven't heard from the election commission as to how many names have been cleared, whether names are being cleared and not. Because the Supreme Court recently had said that till 21st
yeah.
for the
Two
first
days
phase,
before the
yes,
elections.
first
Yeah.
phase, until 27th for the second phase, which is on 29th. The names cleared by the tribunal will be allowed. People will be allowed to vote. So
Vote.
there is a lot of ambiguity on that. There is no clarity here. And for the people, who 27 lakh who've been deleted after adjudication, they remain hanging balance, because unless your names are there cleared and unless you get a voter registration slip, and
Yeah,
you cannot vote.
yeah,
And so that is one
yeah,
critical area.
yeah,
We haven't seen, neither from the election commission nor from the Calcutta High Court, seen or heard what
yeah.
is going to happen.
And this is something we have not seen across any states or even in India before this. So this
Right,
is
right.
quite an unprecedented thing that we saw.
So people, not knowing whether they'll vote or not, that is a
Yeah,
very, 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 difficult situation. You don't know,
yeah.
there are 2 days, and but I think most of the people who've been excluded, they have understood that this election
So
they're
they're
not
not going
going
to
to vote.
vote.
Right.
After the first phase of elections, we will also see a second phase of polling in West Bengal. Kolkata and the surrounding region will go to polls. How do you think that will look like?
So, we've discussed that most of the state geographically is being covered. Now, the second phase, why is it, important is because Kolkata and the two adjoining
Yeah.
districts and the Bengal presidency, where this is considered largely to be the stronghold of Trinamool, will vote. Now we will discuss it separately, but the first phase will actually set the tone for how things are going to be in
Yeah.
the second phase. For the second phase, campaigning is still on. We have
And it
uh,
will pick up also.
yes, we
Yeah.
have the Trinamool leaders campaigning, the BJP leaders coming, and local leaders campaigning. But it is all on how what is the going to be the voting percentage on
Yeah.
23rd. Whether we see a similar voting percentage, we usually have very high
Yeah.
voting,
Yeah.
which we have seen in past, or will the SIR prove
Have
to
an
be,
impact.
yes,
Yeah.
will have any impact on voting person. So everything about the second phase will be decided on how the
Basic.
elections are held in the first phase. We'll discuss it later but this region is more densely populated,
Yeah.
more number of seats,
Constituencies.
and frankly speaking, the opposition has not, the BJP has not been able to make much inroads here in the early election.
With this, we end our discussion today. For more such content, please stay tuned to The Hindu.